David was a hard-working man who loved his family deeply. Life was never easy for him, but he persevered, driven by an unyielding love for his wife, Sophia, and their young daughter, Sarah. However, tragedy struck, leaving Sophia and Sarah to face the unthinkable. What happened at David's funeral left everyone in awe, a moment that none would forget. David's life began in hardship. Born into poverty, his parents worked tirelessly, hoping to provide him with a better future. Unfortunately, their dreams remained unfulfilled as they passed away too soon. Left with nothing but their aspirations, David vowed to honor their memory. He took on grueling jobs at construction sites, sold fruit by the roadside, and worked late-night factory shifts, sacrificing everything to save for a brighter future. One day, as he arranged his fruit stall under the scorching sun, a young woman caught his eye. Her name was Sophia, a radiant presence amidst his daily struggles. She became a regular at his stall, her laughter a balm for his tired soul. Over time, their bond deepened, especially after an unexpected rainstorm brought them together under a makeshift shelter. It was then that David confessed his feelings, and to his relief, Sophia felt the same. Their love story blossomed, and together they built a life filled with joy. Sophia joined David at the stall, her kindness drawing more customers. Soon their small fruit stand became a thriving store. They married and dreamed of starting a family. After years of trying, they were blessed with Sarah, a daughter who became the light of their lives. Sarah's brilliance and charm amazed everyone. By age 3, she could read fluently and solve math problems, leaving her parents in awe. But life's unpredictability struck on Sarah's 5th birthday. As the family celebrated, David suddenly collapsed. Initially dismissing it as exhaustion, he continued to deteriorate. Medical tests confirmed a terminal illness. The diagnosis shattered their lives. David, determined to remain strong, poured his energy into creating memories with his family, even as his health declined. Sarah, wise beyond her years, sensed the gravity of the situation. One day, during a hospital visit, she asked her father, "Papa, are you dying?" With tears in his eyes, David replied gently, "Yes, my little star. But I will always be with you right here." He placed her tiny hand on her heart, a gesture that moved everyone present. From that moment, Sarah became a beacon of hope in David's final days. She brought laughter and stories to his hospital room, her presence a reminder of the love they shared. Sophia, however, struggled to cope, overwhelmed by grief and responsibility. One evening, unable to bear the thought of losing David, she broke down. But David, with the little strength he had, comforted her, reminding her of their love and urging her to stay strong for Sarah. The day of the funeral arrived under a somber sky. Friends, family, and neighbors gathered to bid farewell to David, a man who had touched their lives with his kindness and determination. During the burial, Sarah surprised everyone. She approached the casket, knelt beside it, and whispered, "Papa, I love you. Thank you for being the best father. I'll never forget you." As tears streamed down the mourners' faces, an extraordinary moment unfolded. A white dove descended from the sky, landing gently on the casket. The bird's presence stunned the crowd. It tilted its head toward Sarah as if acknowledging her words, then circled above the grave before disappearing into the clouds. "Papa sent you, didn't he?" Sarah whispered, her voice filled with quiet conviction. The dove's appearance brought a sense of peace, as if David himself had found a way to comfort his family. It was a moment that left everyone deeply moved, a sign of love that transcended the boundaries of life and death. Years later, the story of the dove became a cherished family memory, a testament to the enduring love that David had left behind. For Sarah and Sophia, it was a reminder that even in the darkest times, love could light the way. In the days following the funeral, the presence of the dove lingered in everyone's minds. People in the community whispered about the mysterious bird that had appeared at such a poignant moment, calling it a symbol of David's unyielding love for his family. Sophia and Sarah returned home to a house that felt emptier than ever. Each room echoed with memories of David, the laughter, the warmth, and the moments that once filled their lives with joy. Sarah, despite her young age, showed a resilience that amazed everyone around her. Every evening she would sit by the window with her favorite book, the one her father used to read to her. She spoke to the stars, convinced her father was watching over them from above. "Mama," she would say, "Papa is up there, smiling. He wouldn't want us to be sad." Sophia, on the other hand, struggled to find strength. She spent sleepless nights crying in silence, overwhelmed by the burden of raising Sarah alone. But Sarah's unwavering belief in her father's presence gave her hope. "Mama, let's make Papa proud," Sarah said one morning. "He wanted us to be happy. Remember?" Inspired by her daughter's words, Sophia decided to honor David's memory by continuing the business they had built together. She reopened the store, now renamed David's Legacy, and poured her heart into keeping it alive. The community rallied around her, offering their support in ways big and small. Customers returned, drawn not just by the produce but by the story of love and resilience that now defined the shop. One evening, as Sophia was closing the store, Sarah came running to her, clutching a small notebook. "Mama, look what I found!" she exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. Inside the notebook were handwritten notes and sketches by David. It was a journal he had kept secretly, filled with plans for expanding the store, dreams for Sarah's future, and heartfelt messages for Sophia. As they read through the pages, tears streamed down Sophia's face. "He never stopped dreaming," she whispered. Among the pages, they found a note addressed to both of them. "Dear Sophia and Sarah, if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer by your side. But remember, my love for you is endless. Sophia, you are the strongest woman I've ever known. Sarah, my little star, you are the light of my life. Keep dreaming, keep smiling, and always believe in the beauty of life. I'll always be with you." The words became their anchor, a source of strength that pushed them forward. Over time, Sophia and Sarah found themselves embracing David's dream as their own. The store, David's Legacy, became a hub of warmth and positivity in the community. Sophia introduced new ideas based on the plans David had outlined in his journal, and Sarah, ever curious and energetic, helped in her own way, drawing colorful signs, arranging fruit, and greeting customers with her radiant smile. One afternoon, a stranger entered the store, an elderly man with a weathered face and kind eyes. He lingered by the fruit display before approaching Sophia. "This place," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "it reminds me of someone I once knew. A man with a heart as big as the sky." Sophia looked at him curiously. "That man was my husband, David," she said softly. The stranger's face lit up. "David," he repeated. "Yes, I met him many years ago, back when he sold fruit by the roadside. I was struggling, lost, and hungry. He saw me sitting on the curb and offered me a bag of fruit without asking for anything in return. I never forgot his kindness." Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes. "That was David," she whispered. "He always found a way to give, even when he had little." The man smiled, pulling out a worn envelope from his pocket. "I wanted to repay him someday. I've been looking for him for years, but it seems I'm too late." He placed the envelope in her hands. "Use this for whatever dream he left behind." Sophia opened the envelope, her hands trembling. Inside was a check for an amount that left her speechless. It was enough to not only expand the store, but to secure a future for Sarah. Overwhelmed by the man's generosity, she invited him to stay for tea, sharing stories of David's life and legacy. As the stranger left, Sophia felt a sense of purpose reigniting within her. She decided to use the funds to transform David's legacy into something even greater. With the community's help, the small store grew into a larger establishment, offering not just produce, but also a space for people to gather, share stories, and support one another. The transformation of David's legacy was nothing short of remarkable. The new store became a vibrant community center, offering free meals to those in need, hosting workshops for children, and even organizing weekly storytime sessions led by Sarah. The community embraced the store not just as a place for goods but as a symbol of hope and unity. Sophia often marveled at how David's spirit seemed to live on through the smiles and laughter that filled the space. One evening, as Sarah was tidying up after a busy day, she noticed a small dusty box tucked away in the corner of a storage shelf. Curious, she opened it and found a collection of old photographs and letters. Each one told a story of David's life before they had met, his struggles, his dreams, and the friendships he had forged along the way. Among the letters was one addressed to "My future daughter." Sarah's heart raced as she unfolded the letter. The handwriting was unmistakably her father's. "Dear little star, if you're reading this, it means you've grown into the amazing person I always knew you would be. Life is full of challenges, but remember, you have the strength to face anything. Keep shining, Sarah. You are my greatest joy, my proudest moment, and my everlasting legacy. With all my love, Papa." Tears filled Sarah's eyes, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of gratitude and pride. She ran to Sophia, clutching the letter, and together they read it aloud, their hearts filled with the warmth of David's words. That night, as they sat under the stars in their backyard, Sarah looked up and said, "Mama, Papa gave us more than memories. He gave us the courage to keep going." Sophia nodded, her gaze fixed on the sky. "He did, my love, and we'll keep his legacy alive, just as he would have wanted." As the days turned into months, David's legacy flourished, becoming a cornerstone of the community. Sophia introduced a give-back wall, where customers could leave prepaid notes for anyone in need to pick up essentials. The initiative gained attention far beyond their small town, drawing visitors from neighboring areas who wanted to witness the kindness inspired by David's memory. One particular day, a journalist arrived at the store. She introduced herself as Emily and explained that she had heard about the extraordinary story of David, the dove at his funeral, and the incredible transformation of the store. "I'd like to write about this," Emily said, her voice tinged with admiration. "The world needs stories like this, stories of love, resilience, and the power of community." Sophia hesitated for a moment, unsure about inviting attention to their personal story. But Sarah, standing nearby, smiled and said, "Papa would have wanted us to share his story so it could inspire others." The article was published a few weeks later, and it went viral. People from all over the country reached out, moved by the story of David's unyielding love and the family's journey. Donations began pouring in, not just in money but in letters of encouragement and offers to support the community initiatives. David's legacy became more than a store. It became a movement of hope. One day, as Sophia and Sarah stood outside the bustling store, a young boy approached them hesitantly. He was barefoot and carrying a tattered bag. "Is it true," he asked softly, "that anyone who needs help can come here?" Sophia knelt down to meet his gaze. "Yes, it's true. Come inside." The boy's eyes filled with tears as he stepped into the store. He left with a full bag of food and clothes, and as he walked away, he turned back and smiled. "Thank you," he said. "I won't forget this." Sophia and Sarah watched him leave, their hearts full. Sarah looked up at her mother and said, "See, Mama? Papa's still helping people." Sophia smiled, tears in her eyes. "Yes, my love. He's still with us in everything we do." Months turned into years, and the story of David's legacy continued to ripple outward, touching lives far and wide. People who visited the store often left with more than just groceries. They left with a sense of hope and purpose, inspired by the legacy of a man they had never met but felt they knew through the love and kindness embodied in Sophia and Sarah. Sarah, now older, took an active role in running the store. Her sharp mind and warm demeanor reminded everyone of David, and she often spoke of him with pride. She introduced new ideas like legacy scholarships for local children, ensuring that no child in their community would have to give up on their dreams because of financial hardships. The scholarships were funded by donations from the growing number of supporters inspired by David's story. One day, as Sarah prepared for a community event at the store, she noticed a familiar figure enter, Emily, the journalist who had first written about them. Emily smiled warmly. "I've been following your journey," she said. "I thought you'd like to know that your story has inspired others to start similar initiatives across the country. There are now over 50 community stores just like this, all modeled after David's legacy." Sophia, overhearing the conversation, felt a lump in her throat. "David would have been so proud," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. Later that evening, as Sophia and Sarah closed the store, they took a moment to reflect on how far they had come. They walked to the small garden behind the shop, a peaceful place David had created when they first opened the store. It was filled with blooming flowers, a testament to the beauty that could grow even after the darkest storms. As they sat on the bench, Gazing at the stars, Sarah pulled out the letter David had written to her years ago. "I read this often," she said, her voice soft. "It reminds me of everything Papa stood for. Love, courage, and the belief that one person can make a difference." Sophia smiled, wrapping an arm around her daughter. "You're living proof of that, Sarah. You've carried his legacy forward in ways he could have only dreamed of." At that moment, a soft breeze rustled the flowers, and a single white dove landed gently on the garden fence. Sophia and Sarah stared in awe, their breaths catching as the bird tilted its head toward them, much like the dove at David's funeral. "Papa," Sarah whispered, her eyes brimming with tears but her lips curled into a smile. "He's still watching over us." The dove stayed for a moment as if offering its silent blessing before taking flight into the twilight sky. Sophia and Sarah watched it disappear, their hearts filled with peace and a renewed sense of purpose. From that day on, they carried on their mission with even greater determination, knowing that David's love would forever guide them. David's legacy wasn't just a store. It was a beacon of hope, a reminder of how one man's kindness and determination could transform countless lives.
Subscribe and press the bell icon so that you never miss the amazing video.